This morning, I'm at Rudy's Strudel and Bakery in the heart of Polish Village in Parma, Ohio. Today, they're celebrating Punchki Day, which is on Fat Tuesday every year. This day is better known to most Americans as Mardi Gras. On Fat Tuesday, Polish bakeries make punchki, a deep-fried dough that is filled with creams, jellies, custards, and other sweets, and finished off with icing or powdered sugar. Crowds line up to get this delicious pastry as one last hurrah before Lent, which starts tomorrow on Ash Wednesday. Customers at Rudy's Strudel and Bakery get to start off their morning with a taste of Polish culture, including live polka music and dancing, raffles, trivia contests, and a punchki eating contest. Rudy's doors open at 5 a.m., so everyone come and get them before they're gone. Cameron McIntosh's spectacular new production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera is back at Playhouse Square as a key stop on their North American tour. This musical runs from April 3rd to April 20th, and Playhouse Square's website has ticket prices ranging from $40 to $120 per ticket. This production is comprised of 52 cast and orchestra members, making it one of the largest productions now on tour. It will feature multiple Tony Award-winning production crew members along with the show's legendary chandelier. Get your tickets for this outstanding production before they're gone. Downtown at the Key Bank State Theater, I'm Marissa Ulchaker. I'm here at Progressive Field on the corner of Carnegie and Ontario for the home opener of the Cleveland Indians' 2019 baseball season. The Tribe will be playing against the Chicago White Sox today at 4:10 p.m. Tens of thousands of Indians fans are downtown for this special day, and as you can see, the lines are already incredibly long for this sold-out game. Both teams are substantially different from a year ago. The White Sox are in a major rebuilding process, while the Indians are trying to overcome injuries to several key players. Despite the injuries, Tribe fans remain hopeful that the Indians will win their fourth consecutive division title.
Injuries cannot stop the Indians. It's all about Tribe time, baby.
I put $300 on the Indians today, so we're hoping they win. I'm just kidding, but not really. Clevenger's on the mound. We're going to win today.
So fans, get your Tribe hats on and cheering voices going to support your Cleveland Indians this season. At Progressive Field, I'm Marissa Ulchaker. Two Ohio senators proposed Senate Bill 111 on March 14th, which would legalize sports wagering in Ohio. Some highlights of this bill are that Ohio's 11 casinos and racinos could offer sports betting. There would be online and mobile wagering options. The Ohio Casino Control Commission would regulate the industry. Licenses would pay a $100,000 fee. Gross wagering revenues would be taxed at 6.25%, and there is no integrity fee for the professional sports leagues. Legalizing sports wagering could foster a great economic boost for Ohio's economy, as it has in multiple other states. This legislation could be especially advantageous for Ohio, given the hopeful Cleveland fans for the Browns' 2019-2020 season. Clevelanders are ecstatic after the Cleveland Browns secured the trade for New York Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. There is a bright future expected for the Browns this season now that they have Beckham teamed up with powerhouses including quarterback Baker Mayfield, wide receiver Jarvis Landry, and running backs Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Cleveland Browns received as short as 14-1 odds to win the Super Bowl in 2020, which are the shortest odds for the team since August 30th, 1995. How many people can say that they have met the Vice President of the United States? Probably not many, but I'm one of the lucky ones who can say that they have. A couple months ago, my constitutional law class traveled to Washington, D.C., and on the second day of our trip, we were scheduled to meet Senator Rob Portman from Ohio. So we were waiting for Rob Portman, and he was running a little bit late, and then the Capitol Hill police came up to us and said that we would have to clear the area because the vice president was coming up to Capitol Hill for lunch that day. So they had us move across the street, but not necessarily out of the protected area, which we thought was a little bit odd, but we just went along with it because it was the Capitol Hill Police. And then we started to assemble back onto the steps once they said that Rob Portman was coming closer. And then once he came, we talked to him and took some pictures, and it was just a very personable experience. And then we started to hear the motorcade for the vice president, and immediately we saw all the motorcycles and black SUVs and police cars and everything that made up the motorcade. And so we waved at some of the black SUVs thinking, oh, maybe the vice president will see us. But then they all went under the arch, and we thought that was that. But then we looked over and we saw the vice president walking towards us, waving and smiling. And immediately he started shaking our hands and having conversations with us, and he even signed my friend's hat. It was really funny because the whole trip thus far, we had had so much security to go through just to get into every building, except to meet the vice president. We didn't go through any security screenings whatsoever. and it was an extremely memorable experience to meet someone so high up in our American government. Something that most high school seniors are going through is trying to find a roommate for college. So most seniors have to choose who they're going to live with solely based on pictures that people post on social media and having cyber conversations over things like Snapchat, Instagram, or texting. After going through this, I want to offer advice to those who are looking for a roommate. Most schools have different platforms to help students find roommates, but the most popular one is through a group page on Facebook. The first step is to create a Facebook account and join the group for your college. Then you'll see a bunch of people posting bios with things like their name, major, hometown, and interest, and a couple pictures of them with some friends or what they're interested in. Then there's always their Instagram and Snapchat at the bottom of their posts. So the next step is to follow each other on Instagram and hope that you don't get ghosted by the other person. When choosing a roommate, you have to be judgmental. And even though you're told not to judge a book by its cover, you have to judge people based off of their Instagrams because they typically give an accurate outlook on their personalities. If you look through their Instagram and you like what you see, then you can direct message them to start a conversation, and hopefully you get to the next step of Snapchatting. Once you start a Snap streak and you have some light conversations, the real test is going to be FaceTime. When I was first finding my roommate, we talked about different aspects of our lives based on like what sports we do, what kind of sleeping schedules we are on, how we study best, if we go out, for example. And we were both really excited about the conversation, so we decided to be roommates in the fall. So it's really important to have those types of conversations before you make any agreements. Carol Heiss-Jenkins is a world-renowned figure skater who has had an active role in the figure skating community her entire life. She began skating when she was 6 years old. Her mother was one of her greatest supporters.
Well, I'm from New York City, and I first started skating on a pond with my parents and my brother and sister, and I fell in love with it immediately. And my mother was very gracious about it. She kept taking me skating.
Carol Heiss-Jenkins has won more international titles than any other North American female skater. She is an 8-time U.S. national medalist, a 4-time North American medalist, a 7-time world medalist, and a 2-time Olympic medalist. Her most memorable achievements are winning the 1960 Olympic gold medal in the women's singles event and winning her first world championship in 1956. Carol's successes are a result of extremely hard work. Not only is she known for performing a series of alternating clockwise and counterclockwise single axels, but Carol Heiss became the first female skater to land a double axel in competition. The rivalry between Carol Heiss-Jenkins and Tenley Albright, Carol's longtime competitor, drove her to this success.
And I honestly think because Tenley was competing at the same time I was and beating me, that it pushed me to get a clean double axel because it was something she didn't have.
Her husband, Heiss-Jenkins, has played a foundational role throughout her life.
It's wonderful being married to another Olympic champion. Because he understands my love for skating. He understands my commitment.
Figure skating continues to be a major aspect in Carol's life today. She has dedicated her life to sharing her knowledge about skating with others by coaching and participating in other active positions within the figure skating community. Carol never dreamed she would be coaching. Her husband, Hayes, was the one who introduced the idea of her coaching after they saw 2 men who did not know how to ice skate.
Oh, I've been coaching for 41 years. I can't believe it's gone that quickly, and I can't believe I've been doing it for that long.
International and national figure skater Tonya Krakowski took lessons from Carol for 21 years.
I think Carol's influenced me, not only as an Olympic champion, but also she pursued her college education while she skated, which I ended up doing as well. It was very difficult and it took a lot of dedication to do, but to be able to get 2 degrees in college while I was competing, it was great to have her support while I pursued those goals.
Carol Heiss-Jenkins is consistently a vibrant and welcoming personality who has inspired skaters for years to work hard and strive for their goals. For The Lance, I'm Marissa Ulchaker. In 2018, there have been over 320 mass shootings in the United States. Out of the top 37 most deadly single-day mass shootings in U.S. history from 1949 to present day, 4 of them were in 2018. 10 people were murdered in a shooting in May at Santa Fe High School in Santa Fe, Texas. In October, 11 were shot and killed at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the shooter was targeting the people of the Jewish faith. And in November, 12 people were killed in a shooting in Thousand Oaks, California at the Borderline Bar and Grill. Now, one of the most notable shootings was in February at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, where there were 17 people killed. This shooting in particular led to the foundation of March for Our Lives, a student-led movement that provides tighter gun control in the United States. This data raises concerns of the progression of the number of mass shootings in the near future. The United States midterm elections were held on November 6th. In the election, 35 of the 100 Senate seats in all 435 seats in the House of Representatives were contested. Democrats were victorious in taking control of the House of Representatives for the first time since the 2010 elections. Republicans were able to defend the Senate majority that they had maintained since 2014, and they expanded their majority by 2 seats. Welcome back. The Ohio House of Representatives passed the Harpy Bill on Thursday, November 15th, that makes it illegal for doctors to perform abortions on a fetus with a heartbeat. This is about 6 weeks into a pregnancy. Doctors could face up to a 5th-degree felony, punishable up to 1 year in prison, and a $2,500 fine for aborting a baby after a heartbeat is detected. Legislators in favor of this bill contend that it is immoral to stop an innocent beating heart. Those who are against this legislation argue that most women are unaware of their pregnancy before 6 weeks, making this bill unlawful. It is still unknown whether or not the bill will take effect until it is voted on by the Ohio Senate. This election season was just as important on the local and state levels as it was on the federal level. Mike DeWine was elected governor of Ohio, replacing John Kasich, who had held the post since 2011. Dave Yost and Frank LaRose were elected Attorney General and Secretary of State, respectively. Incumbent Sherrod Brown was re-elected to the United States Senate, while David Joyce and Marcia Fudge were re-elected to the House of Representatives. Additionally, State Issue 1, which would reduce penalties for obtaining, possessing, and using illegal drugs, was soundly struck down, with 2/3 of Ohio voters voting no. The General Motors Lordstown complex is in jeopardy. This is an automobile plant in Lordstown, Ohio. It is comprised of 3 facilities: vehicle assembly, the metal center, and paint shop. The factory is currently building the Chevy Cruze compact car. The Lordstown plant is operated on a 2-shift schedule with approximately 3,500 workers. In 2010, many workers from various GM plants in the United States were moved to Lordstown to occupy available positions. On April 13, 2018, GM announced that the second shift would be cut, eliminating up to 1,500 jobs. After negotiations with the United Auto Workers on November 26, 2018, GM announced that the plant would be shut down in 2019.